Students, now in previous video we have seen the rules of inferences and how to test the validity of an argument. In that one, the premises and the conclusion are given to us in symbolic form. Now here let us take some word problem in which we have to check whether these are the statements or the arguments formed from that word problem are valid or invalid. Okay, example. Show that the premises if you send me an email message then I will finish writing the program. If you don't send me an email message, then I will go to sleep early. And if I go to sleep early, then I will wake up feeling refreshed. Lead to the conclusion if I do not finish writing the program, then I will wake up feeling refreshed. Now this is the word problem given to us. Now already when we have seen the problems to check which argument or which rules of inference is used there, that time we have seen such a thing. Now here clearly we have to show the previous one all are given to us premises. If you send me an email message, then I will finish my writing program. So let me assume that here P is, preposition P is, you send me an email message. Then suppose Q is, I will finish writing the program. Now if you don't send me an email, means it is negation of P, then I will go to sleep early. So let it be R. I will go to sleep early. Now, and I go to sleep early, then I will wake up feeling fresh. So let it be S. I will wake up feeling refreshed. So suppose these are our 4 statements. Now lead to the conclusion means it yields this. If I do not finish writing the program, it is negation of Q, then I will wake up feeling refreshed. It is S. So what we have to prove? To prove that, or to check, is this argument is valid or not. Which one first? If you send me an email, then I will finish the writing program. So P implies Q. If you don't send me an email, means what? Negation Q. Implies then I will go to sleep early, implies R. If I go to sleep early, then I will wake up feeling refreshed. So R implies S. It yields, or it gives the conclusion. What? Negation Q implies S. Okay. Now let us prove it step and reason, or let us check is this valid or not. So step, suppose firstly I will take P implies Q. It is premise given to us. Now let me write its contrapositive. Negation Q implies negation P. It is what? Contrapositive. Contrapositive of 1. Okay. Now third one, let us take negation Q implies negation, sorry, not negation, it is negation P. Negation P implies R. So it is premise again. Now fourth, it will be negation Q implies R. What does this? This is chain rule. Chain rule on 2 and 3. Now fifth one will be, let us use R implies S. Is what? Premise given one. Again, now these two gives negation Q implies S. So what does this? This is why again chain rule on which steps? On 4 and 5. On step 4 and 5. Okay. So here we get the conclusion. So we can say this is a valid argument. Or here these premises are given and that lead to this conclusion. It is proved. Okay. Now the next example. Let us take the next example. Show that the premises it is not sunny this afternoon and it is colder than yesterday. Now here we can write P as it is not sunny this afternoon. Q can be written as it is colder than yesterday. Or if you want, you can no need to write a negation. You can write the simple statement. You don't write a negation there. Now the next statement is, or next premise is, we will go swimming. We will go swimming. Only if it is sunny. Only if it is sunny. If we do not go swimming, then we will take a boat. We will take a boat trip. And if we take a boat trip, then we will be home by sunset. Lead to the conclusion we will be home by sunset. Okay, now here my P will be, preposition P is, it is sunny afternoon. It is sunny this afternoon. Q will be, it is colder than yesterday. It is colder than yesterday. R will be, we will go swimming. We will go swimming. S will be, we will take a boat trip. We will take a boat trip. T will be, we will be home by sunset. So what is given to us, or to prove? What to prove here? Negation. If not sunny, then colder than yesterday. So negation P implies Q. Now we will go swimming only if it is sunny. So it is R implies P. Now if we do not go swimming, means what? Negation R implies, then we will go for boat trip. So S. Then if we take a boat trip, then we will be home by sunset. So S implies T, and all these yields T. They give the conclusion T, that is we will be home by sunset. So let us see steps to prove it. Step and reason. Now first step, let us take the first premise, that is negation. Here and is not implies this here, sorry. Negation P and Q. So negation P and Q, it is what? A premise. Now second step will be negation P. This is how? Simplification. This is using simplification on 1. Okay. What does that simplification? It is P and Q yields P, or P and Q yields Q. So here this is and between these two, so I can write negation P. Now third step will be R implies P. This is what? A premise. Now fourth step, let us take this. From this one, it will be negation R. How? We have been used these, taken 2 and 3, and we have been applied modus tollens on them. So it is by modus tollens on 2 and 3. Okay, what is modus tollens? You know, P implies Q, and negation P gives negation Q. Or if P implies Q and negation Q gives negation P. This is modus tollens. Now step 5. Let us use the next premise. Negation R implies S. This is next premise. Now step 6. Negation R and negation R implies S gives S. This is using modus ponens. On 4 and 5. What does it says? P implies Q and P, therefore we get Q. Now step 7, next premise, suppose S implies T. So S and S implies T. This is what? Premise again, and that gives us T. Again using modus ponens. On 6 and 7 as such. So we get this conclusion. So here we can say this given one is also a valid one. Now let us see the next method, that is indirect method, to prove these arguments. So what is indirect method? Second method, that is indirect method. Now here we see two types of indirect method. Two types of indirect methods. Two types of indirect method. The first one is contrapositive. Contrapositive. In that one, what to prove? To prove this P1 and P2 and so on up to Pn implies C. That is to prove negation C implies negation of P1 and P2 and so on up to Pn as such. Similarly, we have to see one more indirect method, that is contradiction. That is a contradiction. In that one, whatever conclusion given to us, we have to assume it as a one premises. Negation of it we will assume as one premise and show that it gives us a contradiction. So here we take negation of conclusion. Negation of conclusion as an additional premises. As an additional premises, and show that it gives contradiction. It gives contradiction. That is negation C and P1 and P2 and so on up to and Pn implies or it gives contradiction. So let me take example here. Let us take example. Test the validity. Test the validity of an argument using indirect method. Indirect method. The argument is P implies R, Q implies S, P or Q, S or R, yields S or R. So now let negation of S or R is an, we will use contrapositive method. So in that one we have to assume this conclusion as a, its negation will be our one premise. So is an additional premise, therefore we get new set of premises as P implies R, Q implies S, P or Q, and negation of S or R. So let us check really we get a contradiction or not. So step reason. Now first one, suppose let me use negation of S or R. It is premise. Now we can open this bracket or apply the negation on both of them. For that we have to use laws of De Morgan's law. So it will be negation S and negation R. It is by De Morgan's law on this one. Now third one, it gives negation S, negation R. It is by conjunctive simplification. Then fourth, Q implies S will give, it is what? A premise. Now here negation Q and Q implies S. Look at here, Q implies S and negation S will give negation Q. How? By modus tollens. Negation Q, this is by modus tollens on 3 and 4. Okay. Now next step, next premise P implies R. It is premise. Now here look at this, negation R and P implies R gives negation P, again using modus tollens on 3 and 6. Now step 8, let us combine these two, negation P and negation Q. This is from 5 and 7. Now ninth step can be taken as what? This will become, this one will become negation of P or Q by De Morgan's law. By De Morgan's law on 8. Okay. Now 10th one, let me take this premise P or Q. This is what? A premise. Now if we combine these two, if we combine them, then what happened? 11th step, P or Q and negation of P or Q. What does this will give? This is from 9 and 10. What does this give? This is false. This is false by negation law. Negation law. So is a what? Contradiction. It is not a tautology, it will give false, so it is a contradiction. False means a contradiction. So what can we say? As we have assumed this conclusion is one additional premises, we have taken its negation and it gives a contradiction. This is the procedure of contradiction method. So in using that we can say, therefore the given argument is valid. Given argument is valid. We want a contradiction there, then it is valid. Now the next example, let me take a word problem on this. Means in which the contradiction is or the argument is not given directly. Example, show that the hypothesis is same as to say premises. Show that the hypothesis either he tells lies or he is not elected. He is not elected. If he is not elected, then he is disappointed. If he tells lies, then he is selfish. He is not disappointed. Lead to the conclusion he is selfish by using indirect method of proof. Let us prove it. So let me assume the prepositions. Let L be the preposition. He tells lies. Okay. Let will be E be the preposition, that he is elected. Now the next one, suppose D is he is disappointed. And one more, he is selfish, so let it be S. He is selfish. He is not disappointed, it is already covered. So lead to the conclusion. So let us write a given problem. Given problem is, what is given to us? What is the argument given to us? Either he tells lies or he is not elected. Means L or negation E. Is it okay? Now if he is not elected, means what? Negation E. Then he is disappointed, so D. Now if he tells lies, means L, then he is selfish, so implies S. Then he is not disappointed, so negation D. And what is the conclusion? This yields he is selfish, so this yields S. So now let use a contradiction method. So let negation S is an additional premise. Therefore, to prove what? L or negation E implies D, L implies S, negation D and negation S gives a contradiction, yields a contradiction. Here I must write it yields a contradiction. So let us try for that. If we get, then it is valid. If not, it is not valid. So let me take first step. L implies S. L implies S is what? A premise. Therefore, negation S implies negation L is a contrapositive. Contrapositive of 1. Now third one, negation S is one of the premise. Now P implies Q and P will give Q. So fourth will be negation L. This is using modus ponens. This is using modus ponens on 2 and 3. On 2 and 3. Now negation L we get. Now let me write few. L or negation E is one of the premise. So it gives us negation E by what? Disjunctive simplification. What does it say? P or Q and negation P will give us Q. So it is what? Disjunctive simplification. Disjunctive simplification on 4 and 5. 4 and 5. Now seventh one more premise, negation. 2 are left. This one. Negation E implies D. Now here P implies Q and P will give Q. This is by modus ponens. This is a premise. Now next step will give me D by modus ponens. Modus ponens on 6 and 7. Now ninth one, let us use negation D is what? A premise. Now 10th step, let us combine them. So we get D and negation D. So it is what? From 8 and 9. So this is what? False. This is false means a contradiction. This is from 10 or by negation law. By negation laws. So this is false means we get a contradiction. That is same as to say a contradiction. False or a contradiction. Hence the argument is valid. This argument or this one is also, this is what? A valid argument. You can write it lastly. Okay. As such, this is a valid argument. So as such we can check the argument is valid or invalid using two methods. One is direct method and other is indirect method. The indirect method we have to use simply rules of inferences. In indirect method there are two methods, a contrapositive and a contradiction. Most probably the contradiction method is used. So now let us see rules of inference. Rules of inference for quantified statements. Rules of inference for quantified statements. Let us see that one. This is the last topic of our chapter. Now here we have discussed the rules of inference for prepositions. Now this is here the rules of inference about quantifiers, means such a statement which are involving quantifiers. Now there are basically four rules of inferences for the statements involving quantifiers. So let me write them. Rules of inference and their names. So first rule, suppose for all x p of x, therefore p of k. So first rule is for all x p of x, therefore p of k. So for all x p of x means this p of x is true for each and every x in universe of discourse. So it is true for an arbitrary also. This is universal instantiation. This is universal instantiation. Universal instantiation. Now the second rule is that if it is true for an arbitrary k, therefore we get for all x p of x. This thing we are using in set theory also. Sometimes we have to show that one set is a subset of other. That time we are taking an arbitrary element of A and we are proving that is in B. The same thing is here also. So we are saying this whole set A is subset of B. So here if it is true, the statement is true for an arbitrary k, then it is true for all, or if it is false for an arbitrary k, then it is false for all. So it is universal generalization. Universal generalization. Universal generalization. Now the third one, there exists x p of x. Therefore we get p of k for some element k. Means there exists x p of x, means for some x it is true. So the same thing here, there must exist an element for which it is true or either false. This is existential instantiation. Instantiation. Okay. Instantiation. Now the fourth one is if it is true for an arbitrary, for some element k, then therefore there exists x p of x. So it is existential generalization. Okay. Now these four rules of inferences in quantified statements. Now let us take an example on it. Show that the premises a student in this class has not read the book, and everyone in this class passed the first exam. Imply the conclusion someone who passed the first exam has not read the book. Now let us write it as an argument. Now these are quantified statement. A student in this class means it is for all student of that class. So let me say first of all a predicates. Let me write the predicates. Here we cannot write the prepositions. Here we need to write the predicates, and we are using quantifiers whenever we will write the argument. So C of x, as x is in this class. X is in this class. Then everyone in this class passed the first exam. So let it be b of x, sorry, first has not read the book. So x has read the book. Then let it be p of x. X passed the first exam. X passed the first exam. Therefore, what we have to prove? We have to prove that there exists x, C of x and negation b of x. Student of that class has not read the book. So negation of b of x. And everyone in this class passed the first exam. Means what? For all x, C of x implies p of x. Yields, this yields, there exists x. Someone who passed the first exam has not read the book. So there exists x who passed the exam but not read the book. This is our argument. This one we have to prove. So let us try for that. States and reason. So my first step, let me take, there exists x, C of x and negation b of x. This is what? A premise. LHS are the premises, right hand side. RHS is a conclusion. That one we have to obtain. Now second step, it is true for some, so it is true for an arbitrary A. So C of A and negation b of A. This is using existential instantiation. Existential instantiation. On 1. Okay. Now third, or is in between them, so it gives C of A. This is by simplification. Simplification on 2. Now fourth one, let us use another premise. For all x, C of x implies P of x. So this is another premise. So fifth step, it can be says that here also C of A implies P of A. This is universal instantiation. Instantiation on 4. Okay. Now sixth step, this gives P of A. This one, C of A and C of A implies P of A will use P of A by modus ponens. By modus ponens on 3 and 5. Now next, now here let me write the next step. This negation B of A. This is by simplification. Simplification on 2. From this one we can write C of A as well as negation B of A. Now eighth step, let me combine them. Here we get P of A and negation B of A. That is what? Conjunction. This is conjunction. Conjunction on 6 and 7. So it is for an arbitrary. So there exists some x for which this is true. So there exists x, P of x and negation B of x. This is existential generalization. generalization on 8. So here this is proved. We get a conclusion, so we can say this argument is a valid argument. Okay, now here our first chapter is finished, logic is finished. Now in next period we will see, or in next video we will start our second chapter, that is lattices and Boolean algebra. Thank you.